His first opponent was his father. He was 7 years old. He never lost a duel after that. And what happened between those two facts is not what you think. His father was the most dangerous man in the province, and one morning, he simply did not come back. No goodbye, no final lesson, no explanation of what to do next. The boy was 7 years old, and he had been in the middle of learning something. His name is Shinmen Bennosuke. His father, Shinmen Munisai, was certified by the shogunate as having unmatched skill with swords. Training with him was not instruction. It was pressure applied until the correct shape emerged. No praise, no explanation. The next repetition, harder than the last. Then one morning, nothing. The accounts do not agree on whether Munisai died or left. What every account agrees on, he did not say goodbye, simply absent where he was present the morning before. The lesson, whatever it was going to be, left unfinished in the air. Bennosuke is left with his uncle Dorinbo, a Buddhist monk who can teach letters and sutras, but not what Munisai was teaching. Nobody can. You are 7 years old. The person who was supposed to teach you what a man is, gone. No warning, no goodbye, no final lesson, just the space where he was. This is Musashi's first loss. Not a duel, not a battle. The loss that happens before any of that, when the thing you were building your understanding of yourself around simply disappears. Most people spend the rest of their lives protecting themselves from ever feeling that exposed again. Bennosuke does something different, and what he does with that space is why 60 opponents will not be able to defeat him. He picks up a stick, not because someone told him to, because the alternative is to simply sit with what isn't there anymore. Dorinbo teaches him letters and sutras. The boy learns them. But what he does alone, before his uncle wakes, in the yard, in the fields, against trees and posts in pre-dawn darkness, that belongs to a different part of him entirely. He is practicing his father's movements from memory, not from instruction, from watching. A child's body holds what a child's eyes recorded, not the technique, but the quality of the movement, the way weight shifted, the way space changed when his father moved through it. There is no audience, no standard, no one to correct him. Munisai's training had an external reference point. The father's eye, the judgment, the invisible standard. Now the only question is, does it feel like what I remember? Bennosuke has no choice but to trust the answer from inside. He does not know yet that this is the origin of everything. What he is building alone in that field is the thing every master in Japan will spend their lifetime trying to recover, and almost none of them will. There is a night, no historian records it, when the boy understands completely that his father is not coming back. Not as an idea, as a fact that lives in the body. You are Bennosuke. You are lying in the dark, and you understand, for the first time with your whole self, not just your mind, that the person who was supposed to show you what you were capable of is gone, that the training stopped mid-sentence, that there will be no final lesson. What a child does on that night determines almost everything that follows. Some close, some break, some take the shape of what was lost and build themselves around it. Not around the person. Around the practice the person left behind, now ownerless, belonging to whoever was willing to inhabit it fully enough. Bennosuke inhabits it. The sword his father never finished giving him. He begins, that night, to earn it himself. Most fighters carry their father into the duel. Not consciously, but the inherited training, the approval sought or withheld, the judgment of what good looks like from outside. All of that enters the field. It is also weight, a self that was given rather than built, that can be threatened. Bennosuke had no inheritance to carry. Munisai left before the transfer was complete. What the boy built alone in the dark belonged entirely to him. No one could take it because no one had given it. When you have no inherited self to protect, your opponent has nothing to threaten. The perfect man has no self. Translation: when there is no fixed self to protect, nothing can be used against you. Not the opponent's skill, not his aggression, not the size of the gap between you. There is no target. 60 opponents looked for the target. 60 opponents found nothing to aim at. The absence that began in that courtyard in Harima province was not a wound Musashi carried. It was the most dangerous thing he possessed. What Bennosuke found in that field has a name in Zen Buddhism. Mushin, no mind, not emptiness, not absence of thought, the state in which the mind moves without stopping to observe itself moving. Action without the actor watching. The movement without the gap between intention and execution. Every Zen master who has written about Mushin describes it as the hardest thing to achieve. You cannot force it. You cannot practice it directly. You can only practice the conditions in which it becomes possible, and then step aside. Bennosuke did not practice Mushin. He practiced his father's memory alone, in the dark, until the memory became the movement, and the movement became him, and there was nothing left in between. Mushin was not the goal. It was what was left when everything external had been removed. Grief, processed alone, without an audience, until it became practice. And the practice became the person. Go Rin no Sho, the Book of 5 Rings, written alone in a cave at 60, is a detailed map for returning to what a 7-year-old boy found by accident on the worst morning of his life. Musashi spent 50 years writing the directions back to a field in Harima province. Years pass. The boy becomes a young man on the road. He has won his first duel at 13 with a stick. Then more. He is beginning to understand that what he does in a duel is not what other swordsmen do. He has nothing to protect. He is only in the field. Somewhere in his late teens, he renames himself. He takes Miyamoto from the village where the practice began, not to claim his father, but to mark the origin. Musashi, from a province name. No family, no lineage, no weight. Shinmen Bennosuke was his father's son. Miyamoto Musashi belongs to no one, and nothing can be taken from him. Shinmen Bennosuke sets down the brush. Miyamoto Musashi picks it up. They are the same hands. The ink is dry before either of them fully understands what just happened. Every person has something they practice when no one is watching. Not for approval, not for an audience. The thing you return to before anyone else is awake. Because it is the only place the absence doesn't ache. You have it. The question is whether you have named it, and whether you have trusted it enough to bring it into the daylight. The boy in the dark with a stick, the young man on the road with a new name, the old man in a cave, writing the map back to a field he found at 7 years old. 3 versions of the same person. One practice, running through all of them. The stick was never inadequate. It was exactly the right weight for what it was carrying. The grief of a boy, the freedom of having nothing to protect. The origin of a Mushin that 60 opponents would spend the rest of their lives unable to locate. He didn't become Miyamoto Musashi by winning duels. He became Miyamoto Musashi on the morning he picked up a stick in a field. Alone, before dawn, with no audience, no approval, and no father watching, and practiced anyway. You have something like that stick. You know what it is. Practice it before the approval arrives, before the audience exists, before you have a name for what you are becoming. That is when it becomes yours. Because the version of you that practices in the dark, before the name, before the audience, before anyone decides you are worth watching, that version cannot be taken from you. Your father cannot leave with it. Your failures cannot erase it. The world cannot find it to threaten it. It is the only thing that has ever been completely yours. Trust yourself. Thank you for watching. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the thing you practice when no one is watching? Drop your answer in the comments section. And if you are new here, hit the subscribe button and check our next video. It will help our channel a lot. Thank you, and see you in the next video.